This is probably the least bleak update I've done in a long time. I hope that's not a bad sign. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing the weekly navel-gazing thing, where I tell you what I wanted to do and then didn't do and all these kind of things. But today, that's not really the case, because I did read books last week, and I did even make videos last week. Ain't that great? So we'll do all of that as usual. I'll also talk about the whole fundraising thing that is still ongoing. So let's start with that before anything else. So last week, I had to make a decision, and I asked you guys for help, because my life's currently not the best, as you may have noticed if you keep up with these updates, and I started a GoFundMe to help me raise some money to pay off my current debts that have certainly held me back the last year almost, and certainly impacted my mental health a lot. And yeah, before we move any further, thank you so very, very much to all of you who actually did that and gave me some money. I always feel bad about that, but yeah, I'm glad I started it. And before we move any further, yes, I just want to thank you very much. It looks like I might be able to pay off the first of my outstanding bills and debts from last year later today, and that's a good thing. That's brilliant. So thank you very, very much. And should you still want to help me out, I'll put the link down below in the description. Even if you can't help, financially, which is totally understandable and fine. Don't worry. Maybe you can, share it with your friends or other people that might want to help out. It is very, very appreciated. But now let's talk about books and videos, right? So, what did I read last week? Well, I did read Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs, and it was quite the experience, as I thought it would be. I will not make a video on it, don't worry. Should you want to go and read it, I highly recommend it if you're into weird stuff and drugs and, or the effects of drugs, all the darkness that's connected with it, all the economic pressures and so forth that are connected to drug abuse. It's quite the experience, so I don't know. Go read it. I don't think I have the capacity to make an actual video about that. And then I read So Lucky by Nicola Griffith, which was another experience. And I'm not sure if I'm able to actually turn that one into a video either, because it touches upon some very, very important and intense things like, disability or chronic illness or whatever you want to call it. And that's obviously something I struggled with, and I'm somewhat reluctant or struggling with putting into words all the time. So I'm not sure if I can do anything reasonable about that. We will see. I am certainly considering it because, yeah, it's a great book. Go read it. You really should. If you want to understand what it feels like to be angry at the universe for, fucking you over with no reason whatsoever behind it, that's the book you go and read. It's well worth it. And then I started reading The Salt Roads by Nalo Hopkinson, and brilliant book. I'm not done with it yet. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It's a fantastic book. If you're interested in slightly magical realism, post-colonial, post-slavery, also feminist takes on all of that, go read it. It's fantastic. It's powerful. It's brilliant. It's dark. It's very dark. Of course it is. And so far I am really fascinated by it. I don't want to say enjoying it, but it's certainly leaving a mark on me, and I might just go and read The Book of Night Women by Marlon James afterwards to see how those two compare. That might just be where I'll go next. But I did read more books. I did read some theory stuff as well. I did read Catherine Hume's Mimesis, Fantasy and Mimesis, however you pronounce that. That's an older book from the 80s, and I did read Catherine Hume's The Metamorphoses of Myth in Fiction since 1960. That's two books that I read last week that I did also very much appreciate. I did learn stuff, which is always a good thing, I feel. So, that's more stuff that I read. And then I did start Corey Robbins, The Reactionary Mind. And I'm 100 pages in. And I'm really, really appreciating what I learned here. It's great. If you're interested in those kind of politics, philosophy kind of stuff, history, philosophy, politics kind of thing, that one is a very good book that I can highly recommend as well. So that's what I've started reading so far. So where will all this go in this week? Well, as I said, I'll finish The Salt Roads, and then I'll probably start the Book of Night Women. I will definitely start rereading Consider Fleabus by Ian M. Banks, because I promised to start a read-along for the culture as sort of a thank you for the whole GoFundMe thing. If there's a video, if you want to watch it, you can go and watch that video where I talk a bit more about it. So I'll definitely restart or reread Consider Fleabus and start planning out how to turn all of that into videos. But the way I work, I need to read the book first, and then I can start thinking. It's just how my brain is wired. As for philosophy takes and stuff like that, theory stuff, I'll probably do some light rereading of more of Adorno, The Dialectics of Enlightenment, because I want to start the Brandon Sanderson project. The problem is, I read Adorno and Horkheimer in German, because of course they write in German, I understand it, so it makes sense to read the original, right? It turns out that you still need to read the English version if you want to get the jargon right for the video, because, yeah, the video will be done in English, so I'd better have a quick look at some of the key things there as well. So that's my plan for theory this week, because, yeah, I want to start the Brandon Sanderson thing as quickly as possible. So, that's reading plans. Other things may happen. Oh yeah, I'll definitely read A Hatful of Sky, because next Sunday we'll finally discuss it in our ongoing Discworld read-along, so should you want to join us, Hatful of Sky is the next one. I'll probably also do a quick reread of Monstrous Regiment, because videos. I did make some videos last week. 2 Discworld videos, Nightwatch and The We Free Men. And I'm very happy to have them under my belt. Response has been good so far. Yeah, that's my 2 videos, despite connected to books. And then there obviously was that other video where I explained my reasons for starting the fundraiser. That one was very hard to make because, yes, asking for help is not something that comes easy to me. The Discworld videos were easier to make because it's Discworld and I love Discworld. So there's that. And I'll definitely continue this week with the next one on Monsters Regiment. That's what I just said, videos. I will talk about Monsters Regiment this week. Should be tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday. We will see if I manage to get something done on Wednesday, because it looks like I'll be going to see Iron Maiden on Wednesday, and that takes time, which is, time well spent because it's Iron Maiden. Beyond that, video-wise, I'm not quite sure what I can finish this week. I'll try to do the next Sunday school video on philosophy and psychology as lenses for reading fantasy. Both kind of play into The Darkest Road, so I'll see if I can finish that part of the ongoing series and the idea of discussing Guy Gabriel Kay's books, because that would leave me free to go back to Tigana in the near-ish future. We will see. So that's plans for videos. We'll see how much of that I can actually pull off. It's super warm here at the moment, which makes recording videos somewhat difficult because my cameras overheat after, 20 minutes or so. And those of you who have watched a few videos of mine know that, yeah, I'm long-winded. I can't finish a video in 20 minutes. So there's a lot of plans. And then there is, of course, this coming Saturday, which will be time for another monthly Marxist Malcontent live stream. I don't have a guest for this one. But maybe, with the Arthurian thing and the whole fundraising and all of these other aspects, maybe it's better if I'll just, talk a bit about what's going on in my life and shit like that, and then we'll find someone to join me for discussing fantasy and science fiction in an angry way for the next month. I'm pretty sure we can find someone there. It shouldn't be too hard, right? And should you have suggestions whom to ask, or if you are a booktuber, you feel like you want to come on, then just, leave a comment or message me and we can work this out. There's also that I'll be on a podcast with Britain from some Okie Dude, and I don't know when that will be out, but I'll certainly share it on the community tab, and then you'll know all about it. So I don't know, go and check out his channel, and he's got cool stuff there. So why not do so already? I'll link it down below, and we'll see about all the rest when I find out about it, because plans and stuff. So that's all pretty good, isn't it? So yeah, I feel for the first time in a while that I'm slowly, starting to actually get back into being productive. I went back to the gym last week, and I kept to my 3 days per week gym routine all the way until today. So that's a good sign too. So maybe I'm getting back some energy. Who knows? And with the possibility of actually paying back the first of these open debts today, that does give me hope for the near-ish future. Just to, get more control back over my life, because it's these kind of things you drag around, and they're always like a reminder of that time when you couldn't do anything, like I couldn't do anything, and it just thinking about that just drives me back into that hole in a lot of ways, and then makes me, well, cringe at like any phone call, any message that I get. I'm getting anxiety attacks that it might just be someone demanding something that happened last year, and I just want to get rid of it all. So that's something that I think might help. We will see. As I said, I'm hopeful in that regard, and I'll try to take some of that hope over into the videos I'm trying to make. Especially the Brandon Sanderson one. The structure is working out well in my brain. I just need to actually start recording and make sure it does do the thing that I want it to do, which is be on point and not 4 hours long, because I don't want to lose anyone's attention on that one. We'll see if I can manage to do all of that. It's, as I said, a bit of a struggle, and I guess I'll also need just the confidence to do that. I think that's something that I do often ignore or don't mention enough, but depending on what kind of video I make, it takes a lot of confidence to actually start the camera and start talking. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure, talking about Discworld's easy. I've read those books 10, 15 times, some of them. I'll just like switch on the camera and I'll just talk about it. That's fairly easy. But doing something like the Arthurian video or the anti-Semitism video, and at this point the Brandon Sanderson project, those take way more like confidence or well, convincing on my brain, because I'm like, well, is my argument good enough? Can I actually do this? Will anyone really take me seriously enough to actually listen to what I say? It's a whole thing. And I felt with the anti-Semitism one, I had a very good argument, so it would work. And at some point I realized the Arthurian one does also work well, because, yeah, I know my history. I'm good at this stuff. But we're getting closer to philosophy with the Brandon Sanderson one. We're getting closer to philosophy and politics. That's a new chapter, right? I mean, obviously I've always talked about politics on this channel, but it's still a different thing to actually pull out different philosophers, take out arguments, pieces of theory, to build up a whole argument to make a statement about the current, well, publishing industry and trends that I see coming there. That's a whole different thing. And that does, in my mind, always lead to me being scared. Like, really scared that people will either do nothing about it, or people will attack me and attack me in ways that I can't defend, because someone will go like, but you misunderstood that part of theory, so your entire argument is wrong, and I'll just collapse, because I'm always worried about that. It's just a thing that I need to overcome, because at the end of the day, this is YouTube. This is not me standing in a courtroom trying to sue anyone or anything of the sort. This is just me having an opinion. But yeah, I want to make my opinion a good opinion, is my point here. So that's like a struggle that I've always had, and I just need to pick the right moment to do these recordings, and just like, when I feel confident enough, because that's the other part, right? Like I don't have a script that I just read. So what I'm doing here is very much just a performance. It's very much me, almost like being a stand-up comedian. If like my performance doesn't work, the jokes, the timing's off or whatever, that's something that happens immediately. But because this is a camera, I don't have immediate, like, reading the room kind of possibilities to gauge the temperature, so to speak. I don't have immediate feedback, so I'll do something, and the longer the project, the longer I work on it, and no one has seen it, no one can tell me how bad it is, and I can't adjust on the fly like you could in, like, if you have like a live audience and do like give a talk or a speech or whatever. You can sort of adjust when you gauge the audience feedback. I don't have that here, and that does gnaw on my confidence during the entire process of creating a video. And it always will. I'm pretty sure it always will. And I assume it's something that most people that do stuff on YouTube, or people that perform in any form in front of audiences, will always have that. There's a level of routine where you can do some things, but there's always that fear that it might just not work. And maybe that fear is needed, that adrenaline is needed. I'm pretty sure it is up to a point, but it doesn't make it that much easier, does it? So these are the things that I've been, thinking about a lot the last couple of days or weeks, and I feel like with that whole like fundraiser in the background, I don't want to disappoint people that have just been super, super kind to me. I don't want to disappoint anyone, and that's like the next big fear that I always have with this, which once again, I feel so much of that is in my brain, but I do feel some sort of responsibility to provide the best I can up here as I can. This is something I owe all of you, because you keep clicking on this stuff. Gods know why, but you do that, so I feel like I owe you the best I can do, like to be as high quality in my opinions and my production values or whatever as I can possibly be at the moment, and that's... yeah, that leads to me questioning everything I do, and sometimes doing something, over and over and over again until I feel I've nailed it. Like some of these parts that end up in videos, I do record 4 or 5 times before I'm actually satisfied with the result. And yeah, that's, I don't want to say that's bad, because it leads to better product, but it does also mean that things are slow. And I sometimes lose... well, especially with something like the Arthurian video, at some point I felt like completely incapable of actually judging the result of my recordings. Like, I can't do that anymore. The brain is so oversaturated with that whole thing, and I need someone else to have a look at this. I guess it's why, authors have editors and the likes as well. So in that regard, as I said, I'm always very thankful to people that I can just ask on a whim, like, hey, you want to have a look at this video and tell me how bad it is? And yeah, I thought about doing that with my offering that option on my Patreon. Maybe I'll do it. I'll just like put it on the Patreon, and it's like, hey, you guys, you can give me feedback on this, and if the feedback is bad enough, I'll re-record it, and maybe I'll decide to just upload it, and that's the point where you can actually, when you have actually seen it slightly before anyone else. But yeah, maybe that's something I can do, because once again, I do value input from the outside. It may not look like it, but I do value it. So yeah, just my random thoughts. I'm just, slowly melting away in this very much human-made heat that we have out here, and I hope you're not suffering too much from it, whether your country's on fire or it's a heat wave or a hurricane or whatever. And I hope you read good books last week, and I hope you plan to read great books this week, or do great things this week. It's a thing we owe ourselves, to try to actually do things that we enjoy from time to time, because otherwise there's no reason to doing all the other stuff, is there? Anyway, once again, I want to thank everyone for, liking, subscribing, watching, sharing my videos, if you do. Well, the watching you do, definitely. Those who actually donated any money, I'm more than thankful. I'm incredibly thankful at the moment. I don't even know how to phrase it properly, but yeah, once again, thank you all for all of that, and I'll see you in a video about Monsters Regiment, probably very, very soon. And until then, thanks and cheers.